Let me tell you something that completely changed the way I see money. Money is not luck. Money is not evil. Money is not about being born smart or rich. Money is a game, and most people never realize this. Not even once in their entire lives. For a long time, I didn't understand why some people seemed to move forward so easily, while others worked hard every single day and stayed stuck. I watched people around me struggle, complain, and survive month after month. I was one of them. I worked hard. I studied. I followed the rules I was given. And still, something felt wrong. Then one day, it hit me. We were all playing the same game, but we were playing it blind. Imagine sitting at a table, holding cards, but no one ever explained the rules to you. You play anyway. You lose again and again. Meanwhile, someone at the same table keeps winning. Not because they're cheating, not because they're lucky, but because they actually know how the game works. That's exactly how money works. Most people are stuck on level 1, while others are playing level 50. The difference is not intelligence. It's not effort. It's not background. The difference is understanding. We were taught to work hard, study hard, get a job, save money, and hope for a peaceful future. But no one taught us about cash flow. No one taught us about leverage. No one taught us how money moves, multiplies, and grows quietly in the background. I remember believing that if I just worked harder, things would magically improve. But hard work without direction is like running fast in the wrong direction. You get tired, not rich. The truth is simple but uncomfortable. Money doesn't reward effort. Money rewards understanding. Once I saw money as a game, everything changed. I stopped feeling angry. I stopped feeling jealous. I stopped feeling confused. Instead, I became curious. I started asking different questions. Why does money flow to some people again and again? Why do some mistakes destroy people, while others recover easily? Why do some people build freedom, while others build stress? The answers were never emotional. They were structural. They were strategic. They were about rules. In every game, there are players and there are watchers. Watchers sit on the side. They talk. They complain. They judge. They say things like, "He's just lucky," or "She probably had help." Players don't talk much. They learn the rules. They test. They lose. They adjust. And they keep playing. For a long time, I was a watcher. I watched people win and told myself stories to feel better. But stories don't change results. Understanding does. This video is not here to make you rich overnight. That's not how real games work. This video is here to show you the rules you were never taught. The mental rules. The behavioral rules. The structural rules. Once you understand the game, you stop chasing money emotionally. You stop surviving. You start building. You stop blaming. You start playing. And here's the most important part. This game is not fair, but it is playable. You don't get to choose where you start. You don't get to choose your past. But you do get to choose whether you learn the rules and stay in the game. From this moment on, I want you to stop thinking of money as something mysterious or scary. Think of it as a system. A game with patterns. A game with logic. A game that rewards those who understand it. Because once you see the board clearly, you can finally make moves with confidence. And this is the truth that changed my life. Money is not life. Money is not the enemy. Money is a game. And every game has rules. Now, let's start learning how to play. After I realized that money is a game, another truth hit me even harder. Most people don't lose because they are bad players. They lose because they are not playing at all. They are watching. For years, I was one of them. I spent too much time looking at other people's lives, their success, their money, their lifestyle. I scrolled, I compared, I judged, and deep inside I told myself stories to feel better. He's just lucky. She probably had connections. That will never be me. At that time, I didn't see the damage. I thought it was normal. But slowly, it was stealing something from me. The uncomfortable truth is this. Every minute I spent counting someone else's money, I wasn't building my own. Watching feels safe. Playing feels risky. Watching requires opinions. Playing requires responsibility. There are two types of people in this game. Watchers and players. Watchers consume. They talk about success. They analyze other people's moves. They complain about how unfair life is. They know everyone's story except their own. Players create. They build quietly. They test things, they fail, they learn, and they adjust. They don't waste energy explaining why others are winning. They focus on moving forward. I learned something painful about jealousy. When it becomes a habit, it turns into poison. It kills focus. It creates bitterness. And worst of all, it wastes time. And in the money game, time is everything. Imagine two people. Same age. Same city. Same 24 hours every day. One spends that time scrolling social media, watching rich people, listening to gossip, and saying, "Life is unfair." The other reads, learns a skill, builds something small, fails, tries again, and keeps going quietly. 5 years later, one is still explaining why they're stuck. The other doesn't explain anything. They're too busy living. That's how the game works. Some people say, "I'm not jealous. I'm just angry because the system is unfair." I used to say that too. But then I understood something important. The money game is not fair, but it is playable. You don't get to choose where you start. You don't get to choose your family, your education, or your past mistakes. But you do get to choose whether you stay there forever. Here is the rule most people don't want to accept. No one is coming to play the game for you. No one is coming to build your skills. No one is coming to fix your finances. No one is coming to give you freedom. When I truly accepted that, something shifted inside me. I stopped blaming. I stopped waiting. I stopped watching. I started asking better questions. What can I learn this year? What skill can I build? What problem can I solve? What small move can I make today? Those questions changed everything. They turned me from a spectator into a player. Players don't need motivation all the time. They need direction. They don't need to understand everything. They need to take the next step. They don't need perfect confidence. Confidence is built by playing. Watching feels comfortable because it has no cost today. Playing feels uncomfortable because it has a price. You pay with effort. You pay with mistakes. You pay with ego. But that price buys growth. Every time you stop watching and start building something, even something small, you level up. You may not see it immediately, but the game sees it. And slowly, the board starts to change. So from now on, stop counting other people's money. Stop measuring your life by someone else's highlights. Stop watching the game like it's entertainment. This is your board. These are your moves. And this is your responsibility. Because the truth is simple and powerful. The moment I stopped watching, I started playing. And the moment I started playing, I finally had a chance to win. Once I stopped watching and finally started playing, I began to see the game differently. I realized something that most people completely misunderstand about money. Money does not go to the hardest workers. It does not go to the most emotional people. And it definitely does not go to the people who complain the loudest. Money flows to one group only, people who solve problems. At first, this idea made me uncomfortable. I had been trained to believe that problems were bad things, something to avoid, something to escape from. When something felt difficult, my instinct was to run away, just like everyone else. But the moment I shifted my perspective, everything changed. I stopped seeing problems as punishments. I started seeing them as opportunities. Look around you. Every successful business, every wealthy individual, every growing company exists for one reason only. They solved a problem. Uber solved the problem of waiting for taxis. Airbnb solved the problem of expensive hotels. Amazon solved the problem of wasting time going to many different shops. They didn't start by saying, "We want money." They started by saying, "There is a problem here, and we can fix it." For a long time, I told myself, "I'm just one person. I can't build something big." But that was another excuse. You don't need to build $1 billion company to play this game well. You just need to solve real problems for real people. That's it. If you help someone save time, you create value. If you help someone make money, you create value. If you help someone reduce pain, confusion, or stress, you create value. And value is what money follows. I began to notice something important. The size of the income is directly connected to the size of the problem. Solve a small problem for a few people, and you earn a little. Solve a painful, urgent, expensive problem for many people, and money stops being a daily worry. This is not magic. It's math. But here's why most people stay broke. They run away from hard problems. The moment something feels uncomfortable, they say, "That's too difficult. I don't know how. What if I fail?" And the moment they turn away, they also turn away from growth. In the money game, the direction you run matters. If you run away from problems, you stay small. If you run toward problems, you grow. I had to train myself to ask a new question. Instead of asking, "How do I avoid this?" I started asking, "How can I learn to solve this?" Every problem you face is a skill waiting to be learned. Every complaint you hear is a business idea in disguise. Every frustration around you is an opportunity to become useful. I started listening more carefully to people. What annoys them? What wastes their time? What confuses them? What do they keep complaining about but never fix? Those answers became clues. Not complaints, clues. When someone says, "I don't understand this," there is value in understanding it. When someone says, "This is too complicated," there is value in simplifying it. When someone says, "I wish there was a better way," there is value in building that better way. This is the belief that changed everything for me. Problems are not obstacles. Problems are paychecks in disguise. Once I accepted this, I stopped feeling afraid of difficulty. I stopped waiting for easy paths. I started leaning into challenges. I didn't solve everything at once. I started small. I learned one skill. I helped one person. I fixed one small issue. And each time I did that, I became more valuable. And here is the most powerful part. The person who solves problems is always needed. Skills don't disappear. Value doesn't expire. If you can solve problems consistently, you will never be useless in this game. You will always have a place. You will always have options. Most people hope someone else will fix things. Players think differently. Players say, "Let me try." They don't wait to be perfect. They don't wait to be confident. They build confidence by solving one problem at a time. So I want you to pause and reflect for a moment. Look at the world around you. Look at your work. Look at your daily life. Where is there pain? Where is there confusion? Where is there wasted time or effort? And then ask yourself one honest question. Can I learn to solve this? Because the moment you become useful, the game changes. Money stops being a mystery. It becomes a result. And this is the rule I live by now. I don't run from problems anymore. I look at them closely, because every problem I solve moves me one level higher in the game. After I understood that money flows to problem solvers, I thought I had cracked the game. I believed that if I just focused on earning more, everything else would fall into place. But this is where many people, including me, almost lose the game entirely. Because here's a truth most people never hear. If money is your only goal, you will never have enough. I've seen it happen again and again. People chase money like it's the finish line. They wake up thinking about money. They stress about money. They compare themselves to others because of money. And when they finally get some, instead of peace, they feel fear. Fear of losing it. Fear of not having more. Fear of someone doing better than them. Money alone does not bring freedom. It only amplifies what's already inside you. When I looked closely, I realized something important. The people who were truly wealthy, not just financially but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, did not build their lives around money. They built their lives around purpose, value, and mastery. Money followed them as a side effect. This was a hard pill to swallow because society teaches us the opposite. We're taught to ask, "How much does it pay?" before asking, "Does this make me better?" We're trained to chase income instead of impact. But chasing money without purpose turns you into a prisoner of numbers. Let me explain it simply. When money is the goal, every decision becomes short-term. You jump from one opportunity to another. You chase trends. You look for shortcuts. You quit the moment results slow down. And deep down, you always feel empty because there's no deeper reason keeping you grounded. But when purpose becomes the goal, your behavior changes. You focus on mastery. You stay patient. You build skills deeply instead of quickly. You don't panic when results take time because you know why you're doing the work. I noticed this clearly when I compared two types of people. One said, "I want to be rich." The other said, "I want to become extremely good at something that helps people." 5 years later, the second person almost always had more money, more confidence, and more options. Why? Because value compounds. Purpose compounds. Skills compound. Money is not the destination. Money is a tool. A powerful tool, yes, but still just a tool. And a tool without direction creates destruction. We've all seen people with money, but no meaning. They have everything and still feel lost. That's not winning the game. That's surviving in a golden cage. I had to reframe my own thinking. I stopped asking, how can I make money fast? And started asking better questions. What skill can I master so well that people trust me? What problem can I solve for the next 5 years without getting bored? What value can I create that still matters even if no one applauds me? These questions changed the way I played the game. Purpose gives you patience. Purpose gives you resilience. Purpose gives you direction when money alone would make you quit. When you build with purpose, you don't burn out easily because you're not chasing numbers, you're building meaning. And here's the paradox most people miss. The moment you stop obsessing over money, money starts moving toward you faster. Because people pay for value, not desperation. They pay for confidence, clarity, and competence. They don't pay people who are chasing. They pay people who are building. This doesn't mean money is bad. It means money is secondary. It follows impact. It follows skill. It follows service. I learned to treat money like a scoreboard, not the game itself. The game is who I am becoming. The game is how useful I am. The game is how many lives I can positively affect through what I build. And once that mindset clicked, the pressure disappeared. I wasn't afraid of slow progress anymore. I wasn't desperate for quick wins. I was playing long-term. So if you're listening to this and feeling stuck, ask yourself honestly, are you chasing money or are you building value? Are you trying to get rich fast or are you becoming someone worth paying? Because money is loud, but purpose is powerful. Money is temporary, but value lasts. And the players who win this game for life are the ones who build something meaningful first. This is the rule I live by now. I don't chase money anymore. I chase mastery, contribution, and growth. And money knows where to find me. At this point, I realized something uncomfortable but necessary. Even if you understand the rules of the money game, even if you learn skills, solve problems, and build value, there is still one invisible thing that can destroy everything. Your beliefs. Most people think money problems are outside of them. The economy, the job market, the government, the boss, the system. But the truth is harder. The biggest money problem lives inside the mind. I had to face this myself. I noticed that every time an opportunity appeared, something inside me hesitated. I delayed. I doubted. I overthought. And I asked myself, why? Why do I say I want more, but act like I don't deserve it? That's when I understood this rule. Wrong beliefs create the wrong results. Your mind runs on an equation. And if the equation is broken, no amount of effort will fix the outcome. Many of us grew up hearing things like, money is evil, rich people are greedy, money changes people, it's hard to make money honestly, we are not meant to be rich. These sentences sound harmless, but they quietly install limits in your brain. And once those limits are installed, your behavior follows them perfectly. If deep down you believe money is bad, you will push it away. If you believe you don't deserve more, you will self-sabotage. If you believe success is only for other people, you will stay small even when chances appear. This is not laziness. This is programming. I realized my brain was protecting me, not helping me. It was trying to keep me safe inside old beliefs, even if those beliefs kept me poor, stuck, and afraid. So I had to do something radical. I stopped blaming the world and started rewriting the inner code. I wrote down every negative belief I had about money. Not what I said out loud, but what I truly felt. Then I challenged each one. Money is evil? No. Money is a tool. It amplifies who you already are. Money is hard to earn? No. Money flows to value, and value can be learned. I don't deserve wealth. No. I deserve abundance if I'm willing to grow, serve, and take responsibility. This process was uncomfortable because it forced me to confront my identity. But that's the point. You cannot upgrade your income without upgrading your self-image. Your income will never permanently exceed the version of you that you believe you are. Once I changed the beliefs, my behavior changed naturally. I stopped hesitating. I stopped feeling guilty about wanting more. I stopped shrinking myself to make others comfortable. And here's something powerful. The world responds to certainty. When you believe you belong at a higher level, you start acting like it. And when you act like it long enough, reality adjusts. This is why two people with the same skills get very different results. One believes they're capable. The other doesn't. One moves forward. The other stays stuck. Money is not attracted to intelligence. It's attracted to alignment. Then I discovered another hidden rule. Problems are not obstacles. Problems are future income in disguise. Every complaint is a clue. Every frustration is a signal. Every sentence that starts with "Why is this so difficult?" is a doorway to value. Most people complain about problems. Builders study them. I started asking different questions. What are people struggling with? What confuses them? What wastes their time? What hurts enough that they would pay for a solution? This shifted my perspective completely. I stopped seeing problems as stress and started seeing them as opportunities. If people can't communicate clearly, that's a problem. If they can't manage time, that's a problem. If they're afraid to speak English, that's a problem. And problems exist because solutions are missing. The person who runs toward problems becomes valuable. The person who avoids them becomes replaceable. I understood then that money is not random. It follows clarity, courage, and competence. And competence grows when you're willing to face discomfort instead of running from it. This is why mindset is not motivation. Mindset is infrastructure. It's the operating system running in the background of every decision you make. Change the system, and the results must change. So if you feel stuck right now, don't ask what strategy you're missing. Ask what belief is holding you back. Because the moment you fix the inner code, the outer game becomes much easier to play. In the next part, I'll show you how all of this comes together into one final rule. The rule that separates players from watchers. At the end of everything I learned about money, one truth became painfully clear. The real difference between people who win and people who stay stuck is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It's who stays in the game. Every single player loses. Every single one. The question is never, will I fail? The question is, will I quit? Most people lose once and disappear. They try a business and fail, then say, this isn't for me. They lose money and decide money is dangerous. They make one wrong decision and return to safety forever. That's not failure. That's exit. In the money game, losing is feedback. Quitting is death. I had to learn this the hard way. I made mistakes. I trusted the wrong people. I wasted time. I chose the wrong paths. But every loss taught me something no book ever could. Each mistake sharpened my instincts. Each failure trained my patience. The people who scare me the most are not the ones who have never failed. They are the ones who failed, learned, and kept playing. This is why time matters more than money. Money can be lost and earned again. Time never comes back. Poor thinking trades time for money forever. Smart thinking uses money to buy time. Master players don't ask, how much does this pay? They ask, is this worth my time? Can this be automated? Can this be scaled? Can this work without me? That's how the game shifts. Not all hours are equal. One focused hour building a skill can change your life. 10 hours of busy work can keep you stuck for years. The game is not won by the busiest player, but by the most intentional one. Then comes the most uncomfortable rule of all. Your income will never permanently exceed the way you think. This is not motivation. This is law. Two people can have the same skills, the same opportunities, the same resources. One thinks in fear. The other thinks in growth. One asks, what if I fail? The other asks, what will this teach me? One stays small. The other expands. Money follows thinking. Thinking shapes decisions. Decisions build outcomes. That's why upgrading your mind is not optional. It's the foundation. You must read ideas that stretch you. Listen to voices that challenge you. Spend time with people who think bigger than you. Because once your thinking grows, your actions grow. And once your actions grow, money has no choice but to follow. This is when I finally understood the full picture. Money is not cruel. Money is not unfair. Money is not random. Money is a skill-based game. Those who learn the rules win. Those who refuse complain. The rules are simple, but not easy. Build value. Solve problems. Upgrade your skills. Fix your beliefs. Play long-term. Use systems, respect time, and most importantly, never exit the game. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need permission. You just need to stay in the game long enough to figure it out. Because the game always rewards the player who keeps showing up. So now the question is no longer about money. It's about you. Will you keep watching others play? Or will you step onto the board? This video wasn't meant to impress you. It was meant to wake you up. Because once you see money as a game, you can't unsee it. And once you know the rules, there's no excuse left. I'll leave you with this. Money is not the goal. Freedom is. Growth is. Becoming someone unstoppable is. The game is already happening. You're already a player. The only real choice left is this. Will you play to win, or will you sit on the sidelines and watch? If you're ready to play, stay with me. Subscribe, keep learning, and keep building. This is just the beginning.